Hi, thanks again for tuning into the John Williams Show, brought to you by BPUA, Black Paralegals Undergraduates Association. And again, thank you for tuning into the John Williams Show. So I have a special show for you today, food for thought. Do you think that the new gospel music, the new trend, gospel hip hop, rhythm and gospel, still weighs heavy with the traditional message? Or do you think that it's weak with its message today, as far as all trends of gospel music, food for thought? And with that in mind, we will be dealing with that subject and topic today. Again, thank you for tuning into the John Williams Show. So, as we deal with gospel music in its original form, dating back to how music for the African American people started with the old slave chimes and chants and songs about freedom, songs about overcoming oppression, songs about going home, songs about missing home, songs about reuniting with family, songs about a better day. Turn in times became relevant to the things that the lesser society that was controlled by the dominant society accepted. The lesser society, those that were classified as fourth and fifth, had accepted the ideas of these particular songs and transformed them later on through the acceptance of Christianity, being Christianized. Christianity, after the African American people, some in which were able to read and would be able to hold service, a strict service, but a service that would give them a power that they still retain today. Ministers still retain, be able to preach the gospel, and the black community still retain, be able to jump the broom or marry. Still be able to be educated, and then lastly, bury their dead. I just threw educated in, I just thought of that. It allowed you, us at least, to some degree, besides, making our work lighter, to have at least a um, more formal education, being able to read, decipher, and be able to litigate or rebuttal with people, litigate matters, understand them through written letter instead of just oral, pointing out stuff. But that has transpired into people also, on one end, dominating and using that for their advantage, but on the other end, relate to more of a 78% of the population of those people to still depend on the dominant society for it's okay. When nothing's okay, it's just when it's a convenience, or if it if it's a hindrance in the okay, will slow the spread of it down. So then we're still dealing with have that transpired into today's music, and I would argue it has. The song, take in for example my song called Righteousness. I have a verse where I said, praying ain't enough, time for us to get righteous and tough. We done took too much. I mean, enough is enough. And then I turned and said, or else pray to Yeshua, because praying really ain't been enough for us, because that's what we start and stop there and hope that be the answer, as if that's the answer, and just believe and it's gonna change. Well, things change because people fighting, and you can't just say, well, we sat back 10 years and believe. It took 10 years for that faith to manifest. No, something else happened with somebody else that's probably been fighting for about 4 of those 10 years. You've been waiting. And finally, some of what you've been talking about and praying about with some of the issues as well. And because the fight was in court, because we have to understand who we call God in heaven, the God in the earth, is what they call the law. That's God in the earth. What transgression is, if there's no law, then there's no transgression. If there's a law, it shows up transgression. And that's where we are. We're in the time of law that says that there is transgression. Regardless if law creates the transgression and corrects it, it's God enough that it can do it. You say, well, then that's evil. God made the devil. Then you say it's God evil. You say, well, he made the Startarian, bright morning Startarian, Luciferian Startarian, not the fallen satanic Startarian, because stars fall. Archangel Prince Michael would be the Airtarian, third heaven Airtarian. And their height could reach past clouds. They height can reach they be under the moon. They so high. They can go up to that and reach third heavens real fast. The heights are the angelical, we call angelical beings, are Airtarian. These revelations will come to you the more you get into free thinking and out of dominated thinking. The fallen stars are Startarians when they fall. And they fall in the atmosphere, the airmosphere. Atmos is air. Astronomy and astronaut. They're in the atmosphere. Either there's air or it's destitute of air. And that's why it could fall. And until it hit the air, it burns out the gases. Those are Startarians. And the Airtarians will burn them out whenever they hit atmosphere. Those are the angelical beings. I have encountered those angelical righteous beings as to be, for me, 3. And I name those Airtarians in the song Righteousness. I got 3 angels that's assigned to me, walk to me. Walk with me. 35, 17, 22. They talk with me. The righteous and the holy with it. Mess with Jew and the sinister buddies through. I'm Prince Jew, Johnny William Shepard, Sr. And I say, I'm tired of these laws. They're always made to destroy the truth. If Satan could, he would destroy the righteousness too. But Jesus is alive. We got nothing to lose. Coming on a cloud with a fire, with a chariot, with good news. Reward in his hand. That's what's up, dude. So, we can't play our lives at stake. We got to pray and watch every day. Now, I tried to make that song, although I knew the traditional gospel songs, all the traditional gospel artists coming up with, to make a hip-hop gospel rap song that would address, not only talk about we pray, we know how to kneel, we know how to be humble, because that's surrendering, is a giving up. We've given up, we've surrendered, we've prayed, we've bowed our heads, we've come into agreements and touched and agreed. We have to be truthful about the matter. Nothing's happened. And I've seen on today a group, and shouts out to those who are have their prayer groups and really in prayer, and really in the sick and shut in prayers, and the those that are bereaved, those prayers, and those that are starting their own adventures with business, those prayers, those that are seeking to see a change in the welfare and lives of others that are around them, seeking to see change within the government, those prayers, all those prayers are one in the same prayers, that we all have to believe those prayers will come true and come to pass. To some degree, we can't wait for it to be a supernatural miracle, though. We can claim it as that after it happened, and we can blame supernatural all we want. But let's help it in some form, and not give it all of the work. We believe in it, and then we sit and waste time waiting on it to do all of the work, because we believed in the superficiality of the reality that we're really faced with. The superficiality of the reality is that it's going to change without us doing anything to make it happen. The reality is that if we get out of superficiality, the change will take place, because others will transpire to believe that we are for real about what we're saying, and that we mean business, and that there's nothing that's going to deter us away from our natural stance and our cause. I think that out of every 20,000 blacks, I believe 10 of them have a straightforward mindset that be confused with military. You're really not military, you're really just straightforward, and it's confused with being militarized. You just for yours first, all else can fail, because you have the ability to repopulate the earth, and you have the means. If our fierce woman, black woman warrior, will start to want to really team up with her black man, and really support his cause, and he in turn diligently, with due diligence, turn, because he's gonna follow you anyway. We gonna follow you anyway, so you ain't gotta even worry about ordering us, trying to take it, trying to boss us. We here to follow you anyway. I know in my past relationships, I always wanted to follow, whether whether I say something back or not, whether I mumble and grumble. I've always wanted to do what she wanted. In the end, she's gonna win regardless. And it's okay that I put up a fight. I'm gonna put up a fight. That's what I know to do. I know to put up a fight. I know when I'm losing. Okay, I'm losing this one, but I'm gonna put up a good one to lose a good one. And some people can't take that. Some people think that you really, you really, you really fighting them on an issue. Um, you really taking a different side on that issue, a different angle on that issue. When it come down to the fork in the road, y'all gonna meet in between anyway, and you gonna go her way anyway. And I'm not speaking for all brothers. I'm speaking for those few of us who think like that, and that's what we'll do. Put up a little fight, but we know that's a lost battle. But that's one we're gonna put up a little bit of a fight to address a little bit of an issue, and then after that issue is addressed, then we go in our neutral corner and find out who the winner. Normally we come out less than victorious. But it's okay, brothers. If you think like that, that's okay. As long as you got a good support group, and she is the full group. She's the full group. With that, we want to keep in mind that gospel music today is not going to be the same as it was yesterday. It's got to take a different angle. It's soul winning, soul saving, because that was what was delivered to black folks coming up through slavery and then coming out. The general ideal of it is soul saving. But there's going to be a lot of social issues coming out of the new wave of gospel music now. There's going to be a lot of politic issues. There's going to be a lot of family issues coming out of it that you're going to hear within gospel music. There's going to be a lot of racial issues that's going to come out of it. That's one thing that hip hop is going to step up. Hip hop gospel rap anyway, by that standard, again, step up and to address and give actually the essence of secular rap music without all of the harsh language and all. I'm talking about just regular secular rap music. Early secular rap music, when there was just storytelling, when there was a general focus to it. It's going to give it its essence back, and it's going to peek its head back out because it's not ashamed again to glorify its beginning essence. And hip hop gospel rap is gonna be the brother that bring that out, because it's not the beginning of rap. It's not the beginning of hip hop. It's a brother to it. It's a brother that's been on the sideline, that's been saying, you know, I'm here. It's had its place, but it hadn't had its it hadn't had its stage. Now it's getting to where it's getting its stage at a time where everything else is fading, and hip hop gospel rap now have its stuff together. It don't have to just be stuck talking about Jesus and God, and the answer only lies within prayer. it can talk about Jesus and God, and that the answer lies within praying, fasting, getting up, making moves, countering the wiles of the devil, having the whole armor on, really getting out into the forefront, really getting on the battlefield, because it means actually war. It doesn't mean pray while bullets and everything else is flying. Praying on your knees and surrender. So it means, yeah, duck. It means get in the trenches, but it means get on offense and fast offense, because you've been defended. Now it's all defended and fortified. Now it's time to counteract and get on an offense, and focus on an offense. You're focused on the defense and on a huddle. So hip hop gospel rap now is gonna take that defense and use it for a full arsenal of an offense. The weapons of our warfare are not carnal, the Bible says, but are mighty and are strong, but are mighty through pulling down of strongholds, casting down imaginations that try to exalt itself against the knowledge, against the righteousness, against the full armor, try to butt up against the strength, try to butt up against the holiness, try to butt up against the forbearingness of the Holy God Trinity, the Godhead. And so then when you fight that wow, we're going to be doing it through the hip hop gospel rap now. We're going to be doing it through the new wave gospel music, through song, through dance, not just rap, but through rhythm and gospel. Also through just instrumental, through solo, through plays, through movies, independently, apart from the way the world have its classified standards of red carpet, of anything that go along with any other blood sacrifice versus the Christianity eating of the flesh, which is not literal, uh, versus the Christianity drinking of the blood, which is not literal, which it would be of the Christianity sprinkling of the blood, which is not literal, which would be of the Christianity sacrificing of the one's body and limbs, which would not actually be literal, but which would be the superficiality, not the physical reality. When we walk down an aisle or a carpet or anything, whatever color it may be, our true sacrifice would be the work and dutifulness that we really put in to the work, to getting it out, for it to be heard, for it to be appreciated or not appreciated. Then nobody would have to die from it. Nobody would have to go see the Lord early for it to get out. Nobody have to go and have to wear shades and dark shades and light shades and all this whole kind of stuff and cover up things, reality things that you wouldn't have to do, because again, the Bible teach whether it came from the pagans who stole it, and then it was edited, so much of it and too much of it. But the little bit that we do have, we do know that there's some of it in it that says somebody got to fight somewhere and do something. So we know enough of it to where how to behave ourselves as human beings among one another. But regardless, to those who oppose the way we finna start trying to do things outside of sacrificial lambs being sacrificed And that's the way that blood sacrificial offering is. We'll be in a position to where if you really don't work, you don't eat. If you work and don't get paid, um, we won't have a God that needs something from you sacrificially that would trigger that God to treat you as if you were one of the inspired family members who just now getting your stuff together. We'll be dealing with a God who come as you are, and let me raise you on high because you've humbled yourself. Let me truly exalt you. And as the secular world see that conduct is a God that we're talking about, but within our own human ability and our own human nature, because we have been inspired to be that God, many gods according to the book of Psalms, and miniature gods at that, because we're all one in nature but different in form, stature, and upbringing, and background, but one and the same with some of the things that we have to use to eat substances and to be able to drink in order to have this body, in order and the medicine and stuff like that, from the natural earth, in order to keep this body intact and to live a long life. So we have common ground in that aspect. Uncommon when it comes down to who we are, as much as we know about ourselves, and do we nation build, or are we individual? So hip hop gospel has its work cut out, but it's in the middle of a storm and a pandemic, and it's gonna have to address a lot of things, and gonna have to give people a lot of hope. And because it has its upbeat, and because it's learned from its big brother, it's ready for the job and ready for the test, because it's time, and it's gonna be a big test for it. But it's gonna rise to the occasion and weather the storm. Well, I'm about out of time. I want to give my shouts out to Channel 49 TV, to the gospel stations, and to all other networks that's affiliated and associated. Thank you again. Until we meet again, this is signing out from the John Williams Show. BPUA, Black Parents Eagles Undergraduate Association. Thank you again. I'll see you at the next show.